What happened to men pursuing girls? When was the pivotal moment that a man chose to not go after a girl anymore or put in any effort? It seems like guys can just put the bare minimum and not even really put in effort anymore. They don't really care to. Or they're like, why don't girls just go and make the first move and make the effort? When did it become a thing? Now it's like role reversal where they expect girls to be making the first moves, yearning for a guy and chasing him. That is, I feel like, the downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone, because men don't put in effort.
There's plenty of pivotal moments. How about when a woman called a man weak for opening her car door? Or the time that men pursued women on dating apps and him saying, hey, how are you, wasn't good enough? How about the pivotal moment when a man is looking out into the open and happens to glance in a woman's direction and somehow he's undressing her with his eyes? Or how about the moment when women considered everything the bare minimum and nothing is ever good enough? Or what about the pivotal moment where men have to fix everything in a relationship to make it work and women have to simply exist? Or how about the time there was a study done that said 80% of women find men unattractive, so why would they try anymore? Or the pivotal moment where men can be accused of SA or grape at any given moment by accident just because a woman is pissed off because she was rejected? Or what about the pivotal moment that women have constantly told men that they're so undesirable that they would rather pick a bear over a human being, as if men don't have feelings? Or how about the pivotal moment that every single man that ever chased a woman was considered a simp and women simply didn't respect them or want to be with them because they're chasing and they're trying too hard? What about the pivotal moment when the nice guy gets left because he's not toxic enough? Or what about the pivotal moment where men can't even simply be respectful without it being considered creepy or too friendly? Or what about the time that women decided that not even Cheesecake Factory was good enough for a first date? That they didn't want to get to know men for who they are. They wanted to know how much money they made and their status. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound worth chasing. Okay, bye.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you have a good man in your life, hold on to him. And what I mean by a good man is not a man who's perfect. A man who is hardworking and willing to do anything to make you happy.
Women need to start making the first move. If anyone wants to be in a relationship, that's absolutely what has to happen. It just has to happen. Guys in the comments, back me up on this. We have told men for years that their masculinity is toxic. Some men, as they got interested in dating, that's literally all they know, is to stay away from women, is to not bother them, and definitely don't approach them. So there is nothing wrong with a woman approaching a man. That shows confidence. And you know what? I don't even know if this stat is true. I didn't do much research into this, but I did see that 86% of women who make the first move end up married. So, I mean, come on, that's pretty good. I mean, I don't even care if that's not even a true statistic. Hell, let's run with that. But guys, back me up in the comments. Say, yeah, you would love that. Or women say, yeah, I made the first move and I'm now engaged, married, whatever. I'm telling you, that's just the way it's got to be. You don't have to like it. I mean, I'm sure guys didn't like when they were being called, when their masculinity, when their whole being was called toxic. They didn't like that. So start making the first move. And again, you don't have to like it. You don't have to like having to make the first move. You could still have a traditional relationship after that. This is just getting you in a damn relationship. And as far as, you know, not liking things, I do things every day that I don't like to do, but it makes me a better person, gets me to my goals. So these are just facts, okay? Women, make the first move.
If you are panicking over the fact that you are still single and you are starting to have this nagging fear that you are going to be single forever and you're going to die alone, then listen up. When I was 29, I was single as a Pringle, single as can be. There was not a man in sight to date. When I was 30, all in the year of being 30, I got engaged, married, and pregnant with my first baby. Now, here's the thing. When I was 29, I hit a breaking point where I was like, I can't keep going the way that I'm going. What was I doing? I was dating emotionally damaged guys, but yet at the same time, I was saying, oh, I want to settle down. I want to have a lot of babies, but yet I'm dating guys who clearly cannot give me what I wanted. I had no self-worth. I was basically chasing after guys to give me this feeling of self-worth. And then I decided that enough was enough. I mean, I had worked on myself a lot up until that point, but I still had a ways to go. And so I did an intensive inner self makeover. I fixed my mindset and the faulty beliefs. I rewrote the story that I had created in my head. The story that a lot of you may have created in your heads about not being good enough, not being worthy. The guys that I want are never going to want me. I'm going to scare away whatever it is I want, and on it goes. I fixed it. And I got to a place where I said out loud to people, I have come as far as I can go as a single person. I am self-actualized. I'm confident. I have self-worth. I love myself. I love my life. Any more personal growth is going to happen in a relationship. Right after that, I reconnected with an ex-boyfriend who I had wanted for 11 years. We weaved in and out of each other's lives. He never had a desire to date me. All of a sudden, he was overcome with this desire to date me. By our third date, he knew he was going to marry me, and the rest is history. The reason I'm sharing this with you is that when you do that inner work, the change can happen so fast. And if you want to have that inner makeover, if you want to know the step-by-step guide, I actually have a live course that is launching June 1st. So check that out. Join me. I want to help you get there. All the information is in my profile. If you have any questions, leave them below or DM me, and I hope to see you there.
Have any tips for how to handle a breakup?
Celebrate. You've just been given the greatest gift you could ever get from a man. You're 26, you are beautiful, and you don't want anything to do with somebody who does not wholly want you. Having lived 2 of your lifetimes, I and many other women my age would say that we have been there before. We've done exactly what you've done. And if you're willing to hear me out, I've got some great advice. The first thing is, do not take him back if he comes back to you. I don't care what he has to offer or say. Do not give him a second opportunity to dump you. I don't know him and I'm not going to dog him, but if he goes out and takes a lap and then discovers that maybe you were awesome, he might try to come back. Non-starter. Because as life progresses, he is going to continue to have that mentality. And it may be when you're married with 2 kids and he sees something that he thinks is better and decides to take a lap. Second, focus on you so hard that you are blind to all other men. Girlies in grief are vulnerable, and the wrong kind of men can smell that from a mile away. Predators look for prey. And if you're looking or feeling broken, somebody who feels like they need to be a fixer or who likes to take advantage of people when they are weak will find you. So turn that spigot off. None. Third is find your girlies. This is really like the number 1 most important thing for you to do, like right away. And a girls only girlies thing is the best. If you have girlfriends, this is the time that you would go to the ones that you trust and have conversations about where you're at. It could be your bestie, it could be your sister, it could be your mom. And if you don't have any of that, find a local ladies only club, a gardening club, a book club, a stitch and bitch, anything will do. I mean, it should be something that you enjoy doing, right? And if what you were doing was spending time with your man and doing the things that he's liked to do, sit and reflect for a moment on whether or not you were doing what you wanted to do. And if it wasn't that, figure some things out. Like, what do you really like? What's your favorite stuff? But keep it to a girls only thing. Because again, you might go and want to say things that you're going to feel like you can't in front of men. And those other women there will speak more freely to you. Next is your career. Are you still in college? Did you choose to go like a regular job path? Do you work from home? Like, what is it that you're doing for your career? And if you're in job mode right now and you haven't switched to career mode, look at what it is that you might want to track for career. Keep working until you figure that out. But now is the time to like really laser focus on figuring that out without being influenced by some guy who, is looking for resources. If he was the same age as you, there's a really good chance that he just left the nest and really misses the things that his mom used to do for him. And you probably were filling that role, or maybe you stopped filling that role and that's why he bailed. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why he said he wanted to break up. Somebody once said to me, if I'm fired, just say you're fired. I don't want a reason, because does it matter? They could give you 10 reasons and it doesn't matter. And there's a chance that it could be a lie anyway. So spare yourself. Remember that in time, the painful things about somebody fade away and only the good stuff remains. You only remember the good. You don't remember the bad, like that he dumped you. And you need to know that the good times were good because of you, not necessarily because of him. You were experiencing joy within yourself. You were feeling fulfilled. You were having a great moment. You were generating those feelings inside of yourself within a certain environment. Nobody can make you feel a certain way. Only you can make yourself feel that way, which means you can make yourself feel that way again, even right now if you wanted to. I know it doesn't seem like it. From a scientific perspective, it's good to remember that men's prefrontal cortexes do not even finish developing until they're in their mid to late 20s. So technically, he wasn't there yet. I mean, I guess if he was your same age. And everyone knows this, but as your mom, I have to say that fresh air, plenty of water, and good sleep are imperative for you to move forward in any kind of like healthy emotional way. Ruminating and doom scrolling are going to keep you up all night long. Somatic stretching, yoga, Pilates, meditation, a float tank, awesome. A sauna if you like heat. Anything that helps alter your physiology a little bit will keep your lymph moving and your digestive system moving, your mind clear. It's like a hormone, cortisol, etc. dump. And that's what the plenty of water is so important for. Journaling is so fantastic. Do it with a pen and paper, like write it out. And my favorite tip that I ever learned about journaling is to end it with some really strong, positive things. The thing that I like most about myself. What did I accomplish today? Even if it was just taking a shower, pat yourself on the back for that. Some days are just really hard. Make a playlist of your favorite upbeat songs and dance. By yourself, in your living room, in front of a mirror if you want, even better. I wish I would have done this in my 20s, but in my 40s, I stood in front of my full-length mirror without anything on and looked at myself for a really, really, really long time. And after I cried, I started loving my body. I started loving myself in a whole new way. No one will ever affect me with regard to my body ever again. If you're not a calendar type person, at least put a few things in your phone calendar with reminders. It could be outings with your girlies. That would be awesome. But even if it's too hard, like if you're too depressed to do that, even just put in there like brushing your teeth, washing your face. Take a big breath in as fast as you can and try to blow it out through your mouth as slowly as you possibly can. My Tai Chi teacher taught me to breathe in and then breathe out 5 times longer than I breathed in. So I use my heartbeat to count. 3 heartbeats to breathe it in and 9 heartbeats to breathe it out. Sometimes I make it to 12 or 15. All the way out, like to where your diaphragm starts to push up. It does stuff to you, your body physiologically. Very good stuff. And I won't keep you any longer. You can DM me if you feel like you need to. But the last thing you need to know is that there are millions of women just like you that have been through this that will tell you that you're going to be okay. You're going to be better than okay. That this is not a bad thing that has happened. It's actually a really good thing for you. You're not alone, and we're here for you. We're here for all of it.
Why men don't approach women anymore. So historically, women have always waited for men to make the first move. Is he going to go in for the kiss? Is he going to hold my hand? But now, whenever I talk to my friends about their dating history, all I hear them talking about is, oh, he hasn't made a move. He's not doing anything. We're not moving forward. So on the flip side of this normally ends up in men feeling like they're getting ghosted, or that there's just being told there's no spark. And from what I'm hearing from a lot of my clients, it's not because that you're not attracted to her. It's more about fearing that you're either going to get rejected, maybe you're going to get turned down, slapped in the face when you go for that first move, or even worse, like getting in trouble with the law. So you need to ask yourself, does this sound like you? The truth is, you probably missed that golden opportunity to create that spark. And she likely was giving you signals that you just didn't quite catch.
If you are interested in a man who is considered a nice guy, be careful. Here's why. There is a major difference in a nice guy versus a good guy. The nice guys, 99% of the time, their personality is fake so that they can get something that they want. You will notice common characteristics in them: saying yes all the time, being super easygoing, never setting boundaries or speaking their mind. Even if they are not trying to get something out of you, what will happen is resentment will build up in them and they will hate you and be angry at you for them not
not being able to speak their mind and say what they need. A good guy. This is the type of guy that you want to go for. He is the one who is led by his integrity, by his values, and his morals. He is genuinely a good man. You will notice characteristics about him. He has no problem setting boundaries. He speaks his mind. He has self-respect and self-love. He is able to love you fully. Do not date a nice guy. Instead, choose a good guy.
Do any of the girlies out there have any tips for how to handle a breakup when you're 26 years old and that was the person that you wanted everything with? How do you move on? How do you know there's gonna be someone else when like everything that you wanted in a person you had? I have tried to like literally read every single comment that I've gotten. People have been sending me like the nicest messages, and I swear every single time I read something I just cry. But honestly, thank you to like literally everyone who has like that's Frankie. But thank you to everyone who has literally just shared their advice or just like shared the fact that they've gone through the same pain, because I know I'm not alone, but it makes me feel a lot less lonely. I just want to add the fact that my ex was a great guy. Like, it may not have worked out between us, you know, either unfortunately or maybe fortunately, but he gave me some of the greatest memories for the past 2 years, and, you know, I'm gonna make more with someone else, and I'm gonna feel okay about that soon, and in the future. And I hope if anyone is going through a breakup that they come across that last video and just read all the wonderful comments.
Oh, this one's going to ruffle some feathers, but I'm going to be completely honest.
So what I'd like to know, in this dating world for people like over 50, like, have men just kind of given up with the trying to date and the courting and all that?
The short and sweet answer to your question is yes. Yes, they have. They've given up. They're done. They're walking away.
Is it so bad out there, like, that you guys have just given up?
No, bad doesn't even begin to cover it. Toxic? We could start with that.
Because, like, everybody I talk to says they go out on a date, and if the guy's buying dinner, then by the end of the night, he's saying, well, like, if I buy dinner, then I expect to have sex.
And there it is. Everybody you talk to. My gut feeling is, and I think it's obvious, everybody means women. Not men, women. And you're making assumptions based on what women are telling other women men are thinking, instead of listening to men.
First of all, as if, motherfuckers, like, that ain't happening.
And there's that toxicity I mentioned earlier. As if. Your assumption is that that's what all men are thinking and wanting. That's not the reality, but that's what you're working from. That's the premise. So why would any man, a good man, ever put himself in that position when the first response you're going to have is as if? Are there cads out there, guys, who would do that? Sure there are, but they are few and far between. But that doesn't matter. What matters is you're going to apply that label to every single man. And then, of course, there's the other side of it. There's women who try and sleep with men on the first date, but we don't talk about them. We label all men, but if you mention even one woman, it's but, it's not us. It's not fair to label all of us like that. It's a huge double standard. And speaking of double standards.
Okay, now if you put on your profile, I am not interested in a relationship, and if I buy you dinner, I would like to have sex at the end of the evening. Hey, good on you.
Seriously, you actually think guys would do that? Some guys might. Not the guys you want, or is it? Because the guys that would do that, they're the ones with the six-figure incomes, the six-pack abs, the 6-inch you-know-what. And they do that because they can, because they know women will respond to that. The average decent guy, the ones you claim you want, the ones you reject out of hand because they don't fit the sixes, they're not going to post something like that because that's not their expectation.
Oh, I love puppies and picnics in the park, and then you take somebody to dinner and you pull that shit, well, you know what? You're just a dumbass.
And there's the final clue for you. You assume that all guys are like that, so therefore all men are dumbasses. Why would any man want to date someone who thinks that way? That would be pure insanity on his part. It's why men are walking away. They're done, not just over 50, but at any age.
Where have all the good men gone? Do you want to know where they went? They have retreated to their homes. Do you want to know why? Because the good men are the ones that have put in so much effort and had women trash them for putting in the effort. They've had women take advantage of them because they want to be a gentleman, they want to open the doors, they want to pay for your dinner, and you just expect that that is supposed to happen. The idea that you should have multiple men pandering after you just to see which one is the best is atrocious. And this is coming from someone who very clearly wants traditional values in a man and in a relationship. But I am not going to be ignorant to the idea that I'm going to have to contribute something to that relationship too. I'm going to have to put in the effort as well. I'm going to have to be able to communicate and have conversation and be really comfortable with who I am, but at the same time understand that if I want a man to be comfortable with himself, I am going to have to allow him the ability to feel comfortable when he is in my presence. None of this, oh, well, you have to do this and you need to do that, and if you don't handle this, then I'm out. Do I have expectations? Of course I have expectations. My expectations are rooted in having morals and values and being a gentleman and understanding what that means. That means that I am not taking advantage of them just so that I can get a date.
What happened to men pursuing girls?
Are we really asking this question?
When was the pivotal moment that a man chose to not go after a girl anymore or put in any effort?
I don't think there was a pivotal moment. However, there's been lots of little moments that have added up to a large awakening of a lot of men in regards to whether or not it's worth it to chase women.
Seems like guys can just put the bare minimum and not even really put in effort anymore. They don't really care to.
Well, what's considered to be the bare minimum seems to change on a daily basis, so how can anyone truly know what the bare minimum even is?
They're like, why don't girls just go and make the first move and make the effort?
That's an excellent question. Indeed. Why don't they?
Did it become a thing? Now it's like role reversal where they expect girls to be making the first moves, yearning for a guy and chasing him.
I imagine that happened somewhere around the same time that a lot of women were indicating to men that they want them to leave them alone. So, in a lot of cases, they got exactly what they asked for.
That is, I feel like, the downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone, because men don't put in effort anymore and don't care to put in effort.
But why should they? When the possible benefits of pursuing a woman are often far outweighed by the risks that they undertake in pursuing those same women. It's honestly just not worth it for a lot of men to pursue women, especially when so many women want to be seen as independent and left alone.
I think you're right. I think most men don't want a relationship. They want three things. They want a sex doll in the bedroom, someone who has just enough experience, but not so much experience that it hurts her little feelings and triggers her insecurity. And of course, men want a mommy, someone who's going to fold their laundry and clean the kitchen and make them dinner and lunch because they're too fucking incompetent to make a fucking sandwich themselves. And of course, to wipe their asses for them, because men like this do not wipe their own asses. And they want a trophy. They want someone they can dust off the shelf, show around when they want, and then put back on the shelf to stay quiet until the next time. Men don't want an equal partner. These men don't want a relationship because these men, as sad as it is to say, they don't actually like women. It's pathetic. And this is Bacon.
This is why men don't pursue women anymore. Because so many men are on dating apps nowadays, it has given them this illusion of an unlimited choice in women. So when men go out to bars or restaurants, they're not pursuing women anymore because they know that when they go home, they will have the backup of the dating app.
If only dating apps worked that way for men, they actually work like that for women. Because the reality is, men could swipe all day, swiping like on all of those women. And he is lucky to get 1 or 2 matches. Men stop pursuing women because us ladies told them to stop. We complained every single time a man has approached us. We have done things like give him our boyfriend's number, or yell at him, or overall show that we're bothered by him approaching. And a lot of men want to respect our boundaries, want us to feel comfortable. So for the majority of men, the potential of making us uncomfortable is not worth it to them, so they're not gonna even bother approaching us. Men also don't want to pursue us if we're not gonna make any effort in return. At that point, it's just a waste of time, and he could spend that time pursuing his hobbies or building his career.
I often get asked, where are all the good guys? There are no more good guys out there. Good guys don't exist. This is becoming a bit of a theme lately. Now, As a psychotherapist, I can confirm that there are many great guys out there. I've had them sat in my office and I have worked with them. The problem is the great guys, the good, kind, caring, authentic guys, tend to get caught up in toxic relationships, often with narcissists. So these guys are difficult to track down because they've often been pinned down and they've been so abused that they're not able to get out of that relationship and understand and get into a healthy relationship. These guys do exist, but sometimes, ladies, you've just got to be patient.
Good men exist. They are out there. And I need you to realize that if you put out the energy of every man is a manipulator, a cheater, a POS, so on and so forth, if you put that energy out there, you are going to attract men that are those kinds of people. I think it's safe to say that almost every woman I've ever met, including myself, has been cheated on and treated poorly by a man. However, that should not change your perception of the man that you want to attract into your life. Do the healing work. Focus on bettering yourself and nurturing yourself again and getting back on your feet, but also put the energy out there that there is a man out there that is going to love you the way that you deserve, treat you the way that you deserve, and see your worth and never let any other man have the opportunity to even come into your life. These men exist and they are out there. But again, if you are continuously saying all these negative things, you're just going to attract negative. And don't get me wrong, there are plenty of men out there that might not be the best kind of guy, but you should see the warning signs and say, okay, I know when to get out of this. I know when not to get too attached, and I could end that relationship or end that whatever before it gets too serious. As someone who is single, I am so hopeful for the man that I meet because I know my values, I know my morals, I know what I have to offer and what I bring to the table, and I know that there's going to be a man that sees me one day and is going to be like, I don't want any other man to come into your life or even be able to talk to you because I need you in my life. I want you in my life. I see that you bring value to my life and I see a potential future with you and I want to explore that. I know that that's coming, and I think by having this mindset, I will attract that man. So do the work. Do the healing work. Be alone for a bit. I've been alone for almost 2 years. It's fine. It's good to have those moments alone. But now I know what I deserve. Now I know what I'm willing to tolerate. I know the red flags. I know the warning signs. I know what I deserve, and I know how to treat a man. And when you know that, how do you lose? How could you lose? Because the right man will never give you up. The right man will never let you go. And if he does, he's not the right guy.
Where did all the good men go?
Oh, they're at work, or in their car commuting to work. They might be on their lunch from work, or they're sleeping from doing so much work. Finally, they could be trapped in the nothing box and staring off blankly into the distance as a subconscious distraction from the perilous dread of work. The average man will spend at least 1/3 of his life at work. See, we as a society, majoritively, about 3/4 of us in fact, are still telling men that in order to be valued, they should be able to provide for an entire family on their own, despite the fact that 7 out of 10 wives now earn as much or more than their husbands. So to answer the question, where are the good men with facts, they're spending most of their time burning themselves down at both ends, desperately trying to please people who don't actually need their money as much as they say they do. So I wonder, I really have this theory. If we were more vocal and expressive in valuing men for their presence, for simply being available for us, for being who they are, like we expect people to do for us, you know, instead of constantly telling them that it was better when they just went to war and sent home a paycheck, then maybe we'd actually have a chance at getting to meet those men. But more importantly, if we removed these superficial standards, maybe they'd have a chance to meet themselves.
And that wraps up today's episode of Manosphere Daily. If you enjoyed the content, give it a like. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified as soon as a new video is out. Share your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.